Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to a cheeky review. Just like West Ham United, we've split reviewing duties up, half and half. You've got Gonzo, who did his live Ipswich review, which you can go and watch on the channel now. And you've got myself and young Tom here doing a quick little cheeky recap of the Wycombe game. If you're wondering why the border is different, that's because it's our live stream border. We do watch alongs, myself and Tom. It's a wild ride. You should get involved, IMO, because it's a fun time. And sometimes we talk about burgers. But Tom, it's ended West Ham 5, Wycombe 1. How'd you feel?
Yeah, confident. Nice after that. Obviously, I guess most of you would have watched the Wigan game today because obviously it was the 3-1 of the two, and it was a good outing from the squad that travelled to Wycombe. First team players impressed, and the youngsters impressed as well, which was nice to see. Obviously, we got some names play today that we've heard a lot about in recent weeks from the youth side, and I thought they really impressed today. So yeah, obviously across both games, 9 goals today is not bad for West Ham, is it? And then obviously to see some of the youngsters perform so well across both games it was really good today. Really good to see.
Yeah, as you say, the first team players got the first half of the run out, and then it wasn't quite half and half like you usually see from pre-season, but then a lot of youth team players got introduced. But just to give you the lineups in case you're unaware, the teams that started for against Wycombe was Martin in goal, Johnson, Baptiste, Ogbonna, and Masuaku at the back, Noble, Cullen in midfield, Bowen, Lanzini, Fornals, and then Mikel Antonio up front as Maisie joins us with Sock. And then the substitutes bench, most of which came on Anang, Akinola, Adiwara, can't pronounce it, Adiwara, let's go with
Adarkwa.
There we go, Adarkwa. It has the word dark in it. I see that now. Now you've said it, I see. Longjello, Xande Silva, and Bernardo Rosa. When I look at pre-season, Tom, I'm always like looking for I look for the youth players and how they perform because I love to see the youth players involved. And I look at sort of indications on how West Ham are going to play positionally and tactically as opposed to individual performances. But if you were to pick out some people who you were sort of particularly impressed by today, who would you say?
Jamal Baptiste at the back. I'm so sorry for everybody watching. They're just finding out issues. Yeah, I think Jamal Baptiste at the back, I thought he was excellent today. He looked really good as a ball-playing centre-half. Can you just go on the bench for 1 second?
See, this is something you think, listen, you thought when you clicked this video, oh, it's not Gio and Gonzo, am I going to enjoy it? Bam, dog. That's what you get. That's what you get, dog. Maisie.
Yeah, no, I was really impressed with Jamal Baptiste today. I thought he looked like a really good ball-playing centre-half. I thought he looked very composed back there to say that obviously he's not really... Well, he's not seen any first-team action, has he? No cup runs, no nothing like that. We only had to go off of how well he's performed for the youth team. I thought he was excellent today. Obviously, we have to take into consideration that it is Wycombe. But even saying that, I thought he was very good. He put in a good showing. I'd like to see some more of him in pre-season. Obviously, we spoke in depth on the live stream about having our youth team players start to try and come through this season. And he's one that I would, between him and Alessi, who played at Ipswich, I think those guys really need a good look in, I think, this season. I thought Josh Cullen was brilliant. He always seems to have a really good pre-season for us, it seems, or he performs well. And then, yeah, he's just shipped out on loan, isn't he? But yeah, I thought he looked comfortable today. It was nice to see Lanzini playing back. Manny Longjello, when he came on, playing sort of in tandem with Masuaku at left back and left wing. I thought they worked very well together. So yeah, it was good to see some of those youngsters play. And I thought they impressed. Obviously, Anang came on at the end as well. But only for the last sort of 20 minutes. But no, for the ones that we did see today, I was thoroughly impressed with them.
Yeah, there was quite a few. There's a few decent performances, especially from youth players, and they always have something to prove in pre-season. They always push hard. We'll get on to man of the matches and all that sort of nonsense after. But let's talk about that first half because that's sort of where everything happened. I mean, the first goal was, I'm struggling to remember off the top of my head. It was Masuaku. One of the other things I like about pre-season, Tom, as a video producer, is seeing live stream setups and how people aren't prepared for them. We weren't prepared when we started, and they weren't prepared for that Masuaku swaz. Hit one from just outside the area, went barring in. The camera was so zoomed in, you basically didn't see it. Masuaku he was getting very... He was getting very forward, which you expect from Masuaku, but he was going very central, which is something I wasn't expecting or haven't seen really from him before. And he wasn't afraid to pop off shots, Tom.
Yeah, I think obviously when you're playing against Wycombe and it's pre-season and you haven't exactly got the first team manager there as well, because obviously Moyes was at Ipswich today. I'd expect him to feel a bit more comfortable coming forward because he can wander out of position there and he's not exactly going to get caught much, is he? But no, there was a lot of times during the game where he obviously tried to cut inside, maybe, showing that he can play a bit further forward. I don't know. I think in times past, I don't think he's necessarily should be playing. But no, he had a good game today. But again, whereas I'm quite happy to compliment the youth team against today, it's just whatever from Masuaku for me. I thought we did all right, but it's a whole different story because we know what he's like in a Premier League game. So, unfortunately we didn't get to see the strike because the camera work decided to zoom right in on his Swede. But no, it was a decent finish.
Yeah, and it wasn't the first time. There was no replays as well, so there was a lot of clicking through, rewinding, trying to figure out why it's actually happened. And we did that for the second one as well, which was off the top of my head. Hang on, I'm going to get there. Give it a second. Stockdale. It was the own goal. So David Stockdale, former Fulham goalkeeper. They're passing it around at the back. Wycombe trying to find a little bit of space. And when I say the mildish pressure from Jarrod Bowen, I mean really mild pressure. As it wasn't anything rough at all. Approaches the centre back who decides to pass it back to David Stockdale, and the ball's rolling so slowly, Tom. It was glacial in its rolling. David Stockdale just doesn't. He tries to put his foot on the top of it. He doesn't. It goes underneath him and rolls really slowly into the back of the net. 2-0. Not much you can really say about it apart from Bowen just showing some good get up and go attitude.
Good mild pressuring.
Good mild pressuring. You love to see a bit of mild pressure. You really do.
As mild pressuring can go, it was good mild pressure.
It was good. Before Wycombe got back into it, Tom, talk me through the goal. Or talk me through, more importantly, David Martin, who made an excellent save and build up to it.
Yeah, he did. Obviously, he's going to be renowned, isn't he, for the Chelsea game going forward. And obviously, we don't expect to see a lot of David Martin as third choice keeper. But yeah, made a fantastic save. He didn't really have a lot to do today. And obviously, he wasn't at fault for the goal. He made an excellent recovery save to tip the ball back over his head and onto the bar. And a Wigan player had got free and just managed to smash it in from a couple of yards out. So there's not really a lot he could do. I didn't really, because replays weren't there, I wasn't going to sit and pick out whose man it was that allowed him through.
Sure.
Especially when we won 5-1. But no, it was a good save from Martin. Just unfortunate that they scored, I guess.
Yeah. Were you at all? I guess now's the right time to ask. Were you at all concerned about how our defence played? Were you at all concerned about what that? Because it was one of those ones where there were so many people in the box, and we had it quite a few times as well today, where there were so many people in the box that if the goalkeeper doesn't catch it, someone can pounce on it and make the most of it, which is what they did and what we did as well in the game. Were you at all concerned about how our defence played? Were you happy with how they played today?
I mean, as happy as can be, because again, none of those back four will have. Obviously, Ogbon and Masuaku would have played together, but it's a bit different when you were having another new centre half in there. But again, I thought for what Jamal Baptiste did do today, I thought he was excellent. Like I said, the ball play inside of him. So, and again, at the end of the day, it's pre-season and it's a lesser opposition, but. For what they did do today, I mean, I don't want to say Ben Johnson was quiet, but I just think he did his job well, and we didn't really have to. Sort of Wycombe weren't very creative going forward, so we didn't have to scramble back to stop attacks or do anything special to stop them from scoring. They just did their job as well as they could do today. So no, I mean there was no glaring errors really. Whereas apparently over at Ipswich, Balbuena and Souček didn't necessarily have the greatest of games, and that there's a reason why David Moyes wants to get rid of him. So, but in the game that we saw, there wasn't those sort of issues with the back four, in my opinion.
Yeah, and in the opposite way to Ipswich, where nothing seemed to happen in the first half, everything happened in the first half for us, and we're not done yet. Then we went 3-1 up, which was the Lanzini goal.
Yep.
Lanzini, talk me through that one.
Just he does well to get inside the 18-yard box. Good tight controlled dribbling to get free, cut it back onto his right foot, and it was a lovely Lanzini finish. It's kind of the Lanzini type goal you'd expect to see of him in his first season and a bit at West Ham. Played with a lot of confidence today, which is good. I know we're both good, or I would say, admirers of Lanzini. We both want to do well. And hopefully having a full pre-season this time round will help him, and he can sort of somewhat get back to his. If he's not going to start for us, that he can be the impact player coming off the bench. And I thought again, he looked really comfortable today, and it was nice to see him get on the score sheet, which he always seems to do in pre-season. So yeah, no, it was a good performance from him today.
Yeah, I thought he played well. He's someone who has, I don't want to say everything to earn, because obviously if he does leave, he'll probably leave to go to a decent sized club and probably, on a decent wage. So it's not a case of, say, I don't know, if Hugo had got a chance today before moving down to Norwich, who could have earned a move to a team for a top tier side somewhere in the world, be it wherever. But obviously, there are a lot of rumours swirling around him about whether he leaves this season or whether we sell him and all this other sort of stuff. And the opinion on Lanzini has swayed very negative after the last season, 2 seasons. But he seemed a lot sharper today. He sort of put his foot on the ball. He was getting in and around the area quite a lot, getting a lot of opportunities. And I don't know. I just think this was a good example of that. He did decent.
A typical Lanzini performance, I'd say. Just involved in everything that was going on and trying to create and then scoring. And I think at the end of the day, he must know in his heart of hearts that the injury completely sort of derailed his career almost. Not, I wouldn't say derailed it, but his confidence clearly wasn't there when he came back. So I think he must know in his heart of hearts that he can perform better than he has been. And don't forget, when David Moyes was round the first time at West Ham, I remember he did like Lanzini because he had the good hookup with Arnautovic as well. The two of them fed off of each other, and they love to play together. So, it's. I still think Manu can make the impact, and it may have to be coming on from the bench. But I think if he can start to believe in himself a little bit more, and know that his place at West Ham is secure, I think we could really start to see the best out of him again. But obviously, I think we have to realise as fans that we can't be too harsh on him, because he gave an awful lot for us those first couple of seasons, and he put us in the position to be in Europe, especially for the last season at and I wouldn't be too quick to get rid of him just yet, because he's still quite young, and I still think every time I see him when he plays a game like this, that there is more to come of Lanzini towards sort of the later stage of his prime, you would say, coming into now, or the end of his career. Bless you, mate.
bless Maisie. And then Bowen got on the score sheet, another player who seems to be carrying on the form from last year. He looked very lively today, made a couple of good incisive runs, moving in centrally. He links up a couple of times nicely with Lanzini as well, which is good to see. Nice couple of 1-2s, bit of quick interchanges, and he capitalised after do you know what I mean? Quick interchange. Capitalised on not a mistake from Stockdale, but a good save by Stockdale, I thought, and then he was there again. It was that case of so many people in and around the box. When the shot comes in and the goalkeeper doesn't catch it, there's people to capitalise, and Bowen was one of them.
I think it's good to see, because again, it doesn't matter whether it's Wycombe or any team in the Premier League or whatever. If you've got that instinct to be around in by the the penalty spot, if you've got the instinct to be around there, it doesn't matter who you're playing against. You've got that striker. I know he's not a striker, but he's got that intuition to be there to pick up on anything that comes out. So to see he's not lost his touch, because obviously he went on to score again. But to see that he's carrying on, hopefully from last season, I thought he was sleep preview man of the match for us today. But
Fair. And then half-time comes. Not quite all the subs. The subs come in just a little bit after half-time. We get as many of those youth players on the bench as possible on. It wasn't the full... you see in pre-season a lot where you get 11 and a second half 11. It wasn't that, because obviously the teams were split up, but we did get to see all the youth players before Bowen got the 5th.
Yes. And again, I think the 5th was probably the best worked goal in terms of team goal.
I'd agree.
And there seemed like quite an awful lot of people on the line to stop it from going in, but he somehow just seemed to roll it or pass it into the back of the net almost. So, obviously the game was dead and buried at half time. I know it was dead and buried, wasn't it? Sorry, I'm going to have to quickly just give her a sock. Sorry, for those of you, she likes the game where I put the sock on my head, as you will soon see. There we go.
Big moves, big plays from Maisie.
No, it was nice to see again some of the youngsters coming on at the end, and obviously Manny Longello was probably the biggest impact of those subs, or he seemed to do the most when he came on. So, I think did he have a part in Bowen's goal? I can't remember. There was so many goals today. But no, I thought of all the players that came on, he was obviously the brightest spot, I guess, at that left back sort of role. But yeah, no, man of the match today for me, I would say, is Jarrod Bowen. What about you, Charlie? Who impressed you today? Let me ask you the question. Who impressed you today before we finish?
I was impressed by. I thought Baptiste was good. I thought Baptiste and Ogbonna were both quite good. Their goal was all right, but apart from that, they didn't create too many chances. And I thought they were part of that. Like you say, Baptiste was happy on the ball. I want to see how good he is in a more pressurised situation. Obviously, when you're running away with it against a championship level team in pre-season, the first game of pre-season, you're going to get that time on the ball. So I want to see, unless you're Cresswell that one season where he got hacked down and injured, apart from that one time, you tend to get a bit more time on the ball. So I want to see that. I'd like to see, I would just want to see Cullen. I think, honestly, I really think Cullen could make it. I've been saying it for years though, and I think part of me is probably me just not giving up on that dream and just staying true to the idea of Cullen making it.
I've been saying it. Excuse me. Every pre-season, I think he's got the perfect mentor in Mark Noble to really go further. And he may never be a world beater, or may never be one of the best players on the pitch, but I think he can be that solid 7 or 8 out of 10 every week potentially. And I think he's very, like you mentioned as well, just towards the end of the game, you said, a very Scott Parker-y type of route. Cullen, and if you think back, he's that same type of mould of midfielder, like a Noble, like a Parker, small in stature but good on the ball. And I wouldn't see that we would get any large amount of money, so there's no point in getting rid of him. At least trying to integrate him into the squad as an extra central midfielder. I would say. So I completely agree with you. I wish we could see more of him at West Ham. I really do. Yeah,
and I can't stress it enough. I thought Lanzini was good. I thought he was sharp. I thought he was involved in most of the good things we did today. I felt like it's rare. For a long time I haven't looked at Lanzini and gone, he's put in a shift today. I thought he put in a shift. He was working hard. He was running back. He was playing at sort of that hybrid 8 role, whatever you want to call it, hybrid 10 role that David Moyes likes, where he has your person in centre midfield running up and down a lot. He was coming deep to collect the ball. He was getting involved in all of the play in and around the box. I thought he looked sharp. I thought he looked good. I'm looking forward to seeing him more for pre-season. And the last thing I'll ask you, Tom, would be if you were to pick one player from the lineup today who you're really excited to see more of in pre-season before the season starts, who would you pick? Just one.
I completely forgot about that actually with Lanzini. So I'm trying to manage doing the review and have a fight with my dog who wants to play. So I am sorry if you heard that for some of it. No, I think seeing Lanzini, to add on to what you said, there was often times where he did come back to the centre halves to try and pick the ball, take the ball from deep, and then the ball forward. So that was nice to see. He wanted the ball to get involved in the play. He wasn't shying away from it. But for me, I'd probably have to say Baptiste.
Interesting.
Just because he's young and just because he looked very confident and composed on the ball. But again, by all accounts, Alese, who played over at Ipswich, I've heard more of this Alese in the last year or so than I have Baptiste, who's kind of new on the scene. So it would be nice to see both of them maybe next time round, see what they're like, especially if Balbuena had a lot of points today. So yeah, for me, Jamal Baptiste, I thought he was brilliant.
Fair. And I'd say Longello. I don't know whether he came on at left back or at left mid. I can't figure it out. He
brought some energy and pace, didn't he?
He did. He did, and I don't think Masuaku had a particularly bad game or anything, but Masuaku was on when Longello came on, yet Longello was playing both deeper and more wide than Masuaku and more forward and more wide than Masuaku, so it was very confusing, but he looked pacey, he looked decent. I don't think he did anything unbelievable, but I do want to see a little bit more of him just to see what goes ahead and happen. But Tom, I'd like to thank you for joining me on the review. I was going to do it by myself, but I'd also like to thank Maisie specifically. Maisie, thank you for joining us on the review. We liked your opinions. Thought they were strong, good, solid West Ham opinions. If you haven't already, subscribe if you enjoyed it. Hit that like button. Like I said, Gonzo did do a live review of the Ipswich game, which it will appear on your screen right now, so you can have a little gander. But if you don't, go back and click it. The Wycombe review was live on the West Ham YouTube channel, so you can actually go back and watch all of those goals. There's a couple in there. Masuaku one, tell me what you thought. As Tom gets dragged off screen. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.